So, I was just reading some pages of this magazine because I find cars amazing, and there are some supercars here. I recommend it. Very nice. Yo guys, I'm Leo from Leonerd. Welcome back. That little magazine thing that I just said has nothing to do with this video, but let me know in the comments if you like cars, because I love cars and car photography would be an interesting subject. So guys, today we're talking about the exposure tripod again. We already talked about aperture and we will be talking about shutter speed in this video and ISO in another video. So if you haven't checked those yet, check them out because these three things are heavily connected. As I've said, today I'm talking about shutter speed, and I'll try to explain it as I did with aperture, the simplest way possible, because I know your struggle going through YouTube videos and then grabbing your camera and don't knowing what to do. So I'll explain the quickest and the simplest way I can. So what is shutter speed? It helps to control your light as ISO and aperture do, but in a different way. Let me explain. As we talked about in the other video, aperture controls the amount of light that goes in the sensor, and shutter speed controls the amount of time that the sensor will be exposed to that certain amount of light. You might be asking, why do you need to control the amount of light by the shutter speed if you can do it by the aperture? But those are different things, as I mentioned. One is the amount of light, the other one is the amount of time. But controlling the amount of time also affects your image. Let's say I have two cameras and I want to take a photo. Both cameras are with the same aperture and ISO, but different shutters. This one is with a shutter of 10 seconds and this one of 5 seconds. Both cameras are in the same environment. That means the amount of light is the same because the aperture it is the same and the ISO as well. But if this one is exposed to 10 seconds of light and this one for 5, those extra 5 seconds will result in a brighter image because it was longer than this one. There is a numerical relation for shutter, which usually is a fraction of time. If your camera shows 1/500, that means that is 1 second divided by 500. And some cameras will just show the 500, but that's just the same. If your camera is showing like the number 1 and 2 little bars, it means it is a full second. If it's 2 and 2 little bars, 2 seconds. Now I'll talk some more about higher shutters and slower shutters and what are their uses. If you want to capture a moving subject, with a higher shutter you won't need a tripod. You will get the subject perfectly sharp. With the slower shutter there will be motion blur, which is this. It's because the sensor was open for a higher amount of time, so more motion, more of that object movement was captured in the camera. In this case it was very fast and the image will be perfectly sharp. With the slower shutters you can play and do things called light trails, which are basically, let's say, a moving car. You want to shoot a moving car and only have the lights. You probably have seen a photo like this on Instagram or whatever. A moving car, but only the lights are visible. That is with higher shutters, like 8 seconds. But you need to have your camera completely still, because every single jiggle will make a tremendous difference. So keep that in mind. It's also very important to know that the higher shutters will have darker images, so you gotta compensate with aperture and ISO. And the slower ones will be jiggly if you don't use a tripod, and you gotta compensate that with aperture and ISO as well, because it probably will be too bright. Now let's do some tests. This is 1/50, and look at the motion blur. This is 1/200, and as you can see, there is much less motion blur than before. So this video will end here. I hope you liked. Leave a like if you did, your comment saying something that you think I can improve in my videos. Turn on the post notifications and subscribe if you haven't already. My social medias will be listed in the description down below. Shutter speed is not a simple subject. You gotta focus on what I talked about, and you gotta grab your camera and try, as always in photography and videography. It's a bit confusing, but once you try, I guarantee you that it will be much clearer in your head. So go out, grab your camera and try. And thanks for watching. As always, I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.